And like I said before, I don't care if hip hop is the most dominant thing or not. It would probably be better for the genre if it did.
If it wasn't
because it would get a lot of suckers out of here.
It would.
The people who are trying to just get in for a quick cash grab.
So perhaps this popularity could be a cleanse, perhaps. So here's a question that's being posed, and this is from Russ. It says, and this is on Welcome. I want to make sure I get it right. Welcome to the Culture on Instagram. It says, are record labels covering up that hip hop is dying and is about to be replaced by country music? I think Russ makes a very compelling argument for this. So let's take a listen and see what he said.
They're going to keep boosting and juicing the stream so that it appears that, what are y'all talking about? Rap's not losing steam. There's country, sure, but we're still crushing. No, you're not. Wow. You're having to spend a lot of money to keep up the facade. This is A Star Is Born. What is the Lady Gaga movie? It's that.
A Star Is Born, yeah.
It's right now, the labels are doing everything they can to keep the makeup and the wig and the choreography going so that it looks like popping. But it's not. It's not.
And how does that end? Do they run out of money?
No, I think it's like every genre.
I think, bro, to be honest, once again, this is, the truth is boring, right? Here's the truth. You know what it is? 4 years ago, every CEO was signing every SoundCloud rapper and their cousin. You know what they're about to do? Sign every country artist and their cousin.
What y'all think about that, man? Jay Moore, what you think?
I don't know. Sometimes when people make statements like this, and I want to know what spaces they're in, because, you know, as much as the Beyonce song has picked up steam,
it sure has,
and it's a #1 song on the country charts. You know, it's not like everywhere I went during All-Star Game. And once again, this is a different. I see how hip hop still moves people.
Yep.
What these CEOs and what they're willing to sign, you know, that's about capitalism. You know, and they're just trying to ride whatever new wave is going to come along. And they want to, you know, maybe we can find somebody else who wants to remake a song from the 80s and put a country twist on it like they did with Fast Car. I'm sorry, but maybe once again, it's the spaces I'm in. There hasn't been all of a sudden people wearing cowboy boots and trying to get big buckles, and just because Beyonce put out 2 country songs, you know, are they spending a lot of money that they're probably not recouping? Yes, but that's always been the case with hip hop. That's why everybody complains about their contracts, you know. So I don't really see this wave happening. I could be completely wrong. Like I said, I thought people were going to get tired of fashion hoe rap, and then here comes Sexy Red, and, you know, basically blew my whole argument out of the water. But I'm sorry. I kind of see where he's coming from, but I think it's peppered with where he's at, because he's already very successful, and he might be in these rooms where there's a lot more country music randomly being played, and I am not. So I still see hip hop, whether it be the commercial side or the fact that, like, you know, legacy acts are still able to go out here and get so much money based on nostalgia. Like, I don't think that's going to end anytime soon.
What do you think about the part where he mentions the frequency with which artists were signed 4 years ago, fast forwarding to now?
Once again, that was people just trying to ride a wave, you know, because a lot of those people who were signed 4 years ago, we don't even know where they are now. You know, they might have gave them a single deal. You know, they might have, you know, set them up to where they had a hot 6 months, you know, but the way things move and we don't sit with things anymore.
True.
You know, the fact that, like, if you're going to put out a project now, you know, if you don't have a video and you don't have a song that's really popping and you put out a whole album, like, it doesn't make any sense anymore. You know, we don't, as our attention spans are so much shorter. Now, maybe what he sees is they might be willing to sign these country artists because people who listen to country music might have a longer attention span and they're able to get more out of less. I might be able to see that. But as far as rap dying, come on, dude. Like, that's hyperbole on so many levels.
Yeah, I don't see rap dying. I mean, that's kind of. Did he say that?
Little extreme.
Did he even say that though? I don't know.
Well, it's on the caption. It just says, "Are the record labels covering up the fact that hip hop is dying?" I don't think he made. I don't think he said that. But
I think the conversation is just comes from like a bad place. It's like we're talking about the popularity of a certain genre of music, as opposed to just like we're talking about the commercialization of it, which is what Jay alluded to, right? but it's the culture's not going anywhere. You know, like rap music isn't going anywhere. Like I don't.
doesn't just stop.
I personally
Right.
don't care if they sign more artists or less artists. Why do I care what the commercialized capitalist side of hip hop does with artists that they're just trying to make a profit from them anyways? Like I don't really
point.
care. I honestly don't care at all. Because that's not the area of hip hop that I care about
Right.
personally. You know what I mean? Like, so
It just doesn't work like that at the end of the day. That's how I feel. Because, I mean, if you think about through time, a records label job is to always try to figure out what's going on right now and try to keep feeding that energy.
Right.
Even though it might get corny and they catch on late, they still try to do the same thing and try to act like they're hip. I mean, if you think about the 90s, country music was lit in the 90s as far as popularity is concerned. Country artists, fans continue to buy their stuff too. And this has always been known. Like they've never stopped or slowed down buying these country artists' music. There's a country music awards that comes on every year.
True.
You know what I'm saying? They have a country music TV channel too. I don't know if they still show videos.
CMT,
Like
it's run by the same people who own BET and MTV. So,
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so they have
there
their
are a lot of
outlet.
TV shows, yeah.
They have their outlet, and that's not slowing down. As far as it taking the place, I mean, it's just you got a couple hot songs. It's not going to replace a whole culture. At the end of the day, that's how I feel about
That's
it.
a bar.
I mean, Beyonce can do what she wants to do.
She's in a position to do
She's
that.
in a position that she can do what she wants to do.
Right.
Just because she made a country song does not mean that everybody that listens to hip hop is going to gravitate towards country. So I don't feel like just because it's popular now and a couple of songs are getting played on urban stations that it's going to completely change the landscape of hip hop to it where it just dies off, because you have different types of hip hop. Maybe it changes the scope of hip hop that they're playing on the radio right now.
Right.
Maybe it brings it back to that same energy that we're used to and that we enjoy.
Right.
But I don't think it's going to just wipe out hip hop. I don't see that. Do you see them having all country artists Super Bowl halftime show?
No.
Or even at an NBA game halftime or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't see that. I see them sprinkling a little bit here and there, but they're not going to be the main focus.
Unless they get like somebody like Garth Brooks.
Yeah. And
But
even
even
with
then,
Garth
they-
Brooks.
Even with that, though, to his point,
They'd
it's
have
like,
to still put somebody in there with them.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, but you know, NBA. I mean, NBA got it wrong this year with Jennifer Hudson. I don't know what they were thinking about.
Yeah,
there.
I don't know what that was.
That was terrible.
But historically, the NBA All-Star Weekend, the performance is never really top notch. I mean, because I
Yeah.
think one year it was Dame Lillard, and I think Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is nice. Lil Wayne performed here. He just wasn't on the TV
Yeah.
portion of it. But yeah, I've never really paid attention to an NBA.
All-star halftime show.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Well-
But still, I think even if we weren't, I don't think all of a sudden they're going to be the NBA pays tribute to country.
Yeah, no.
Right. I
not
mean,
gonna
Doughboy made a good point. He said rap/hip hop isn't dying. I think it might be a country or pop turns into a top dog again, but it goes in
Yeah,
cycles.
It's like you
I
said,
like
it's in
that.
cycles. I mean, think about
like
back in the
that.
day, you had Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton, and all of them are movie stars
Right.
based off of country music
Yeah.
that started like in the 80s, well, late 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on and so forth.
Look, remember when Shania Twain was out here moving units?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Late
Like,
90s.
She did like when everybody was talking about, you know, Puff Daddy and the family, and it was
Yeah.
like, that's cute, but Shania Twain just did 17 million.
Yeah.
You know, but that didn't take over the overall pop. That was her. It wasn't. She didn't bring everybody from country music in with her.
Nah.
Yeah, a culture, quote unquote, dying, that takes, especially the magnitude of hip hop, that takes a lot.
I mean, you got to think about
Takes
the
a lot.
nature of our country in general. It's more urban than it is country, so to speak. I mean, you have a lot of areas that are rural,
Right.
but most of the main majority of people live in the urban areas or the cities.
Well, it's kind of like when people make that argument, you know, because people and you know, they're like, oh, we want to make sure that we're taking care of real Americans, because they think it's the people who still go to the general store and you know, and go to the football game is the main thing to do in the town every Friday. It's like, no, real America is Indianapolis, St. Louis, Los Angeles, Chicago. That's where everybody lives.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and you know, it's they use these code words sometimes, just like when they say, well, you know, we want to talk to hockey moms or we want to talk to suburban housewives, you know, but they're never thinking about, you know, my mother who's lived in the suburbs for 40 years. That's not who they're talking about, you know. So I just think sometimes when we talk about the demographics and like, oh, who we should appeal to, you know, even the country that you appeal that appeals to everybody's country that appeals to people in big cities. Yeah. So
I think this really speaks to just the power of Beyonce, man, because this literally could just be a conversation based off the fact that she, you know, got everybody in a tizzy from the country music, I don't know, fan base or whatever you want to call it.
Is like, Taylor Swift country, or is she just
she used to be?
She's done country music, what I would think would be considered to be country music.
Okay.
But all I know is like even with the Beyonce song, like I have heard it out more, not actually in the places where I'm at, but like you know, it was real. The weather got real nice yesterday, and you know, I did see somebody on one of those little trikes playing that song extra loud, like this ain't Texas, whatever that song is. Yeah. But then also I heard somebody remix it and put Atomic Dog under it, and that went hard.
Yeah, it was slapping.
Yeah.
You'll probably hear that more so often
than the OG version, huh?
Just like you.
Well, you won't hear it more than OG, but here you might hear it more.
I mean, just like you hear that one version of her song with the twister.
Yeah, She actually had to end up putting that out.
Yes,
as an official single.
Exactly. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I think a lot of people will give credence to this. No diss to Russ.
No, it's just
because it's Russ that's saying it.
And Russ knows what he's doing out here.
Now he knows.
He does.
He's figured out. You know, he's cracked the code in a lot of ways.
True,
but that doesn't mean he can not be wrong.
Well, he cracked the old code.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think his model works in the same way that it works specifically for him. He was just the guy that did it in his model doesn't work anymore.
Outdated
in the same manner.
Yeah,
he's already here. Like it definitely worked for him. And I think to a degree you can get a decent amount of success following some of his principles, but doing it exactly the way he did it is just not possible anymore. It's a different landscape. Social media is wild.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what created the Beyonce remix last. The Get It Wetter remix, essentially. To where she had to put it out because it gained so much steam on TikTok. It's funny though that people don't think that more than one genre can exist in the same space and still be popular. Just because country is on the uprise does not mean it's going to just replace hip hop and hip hop dies. Nobody says it about any other genre though.
I think he's probably just speaking on it from an angle from the major label system and what they are going to prioritize, you know, in that manner, and what's going to be the most dominant thing. Yeah. Because country, even though hip hop's been the biggest thing for a long time, it's not like country wasn't big too.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, and then like I said, like we're talking about how different ways to get on are outdated. A lot of people aren't even trying to get those record deals anymore anyway. Yeah, unless it helps.
That's another piece.
You know what I'm saying?
That's another piece of this as well. It's like labels.
Model,
labels are trying to hold on. I agree with him in that aspect, and they're trying to. We talked about Afrobeat, you know, and all that stuff recently. So I'm curious. I mean, again, like I said before, I don't care if hip hop is the most dominant thing or not. It would probably be better for the genre if it did.
If it wasn't
because it would get a lot of suckers out of here.
It would.
Who are trying to just get in for a quick cash grab.
So perhaps this popularity could be a cleanse, perhaps.
I don't think a full cleanse, but I think maybe
partial cleanse.
Yeah, like if you eat enough raisins.
See, I didn't say anything.
I'm good.
It's like it's kryptonite.
It's something like about raisins that just pauses your brain.
No, man. No, y'all not about to do this.